Unlike other YouTube channels, my Q&A videos tend to focus on the deeper and more thought-provoking questions. How are you? I'll do you one better. Why are you? What did you want to be when you were just a kid? When I was a kid, I was very inspired by my dad's job. He was a high school principal for the majority of my life. And all I kind of got out of that for a while was he got to make the rules and that he got to tell the students what to do. And I thought that was the coolest job ever. What's the hardest impression for you to do? I have a lot of trouble in general with real life people. Real life people don't have as unique of voices, unlike Morgan Freeman or Christopher Walken. Their voices aren't as unique or set apart from other voices and other people, so it's more difficult to replicate those. But in terms of cartoons, I'm still very much working on my Donald Duck voice. I'm so ready to find my mouse. It's a work in progress. Another one that I really want to learn how to do is Winnie the Pooh. I hear people like Brian Hull and the epic voice guy from Screen Junkies who are able to do it, and I don't understand how they can do it. I've tried doing it. I don't know what to do to make it sound like Winnie the Pooh. It just makes me sad. So if anybody knows how to do it, let me know, please. Help me. Instead of doing what you do, what would be your second favorite job? If by what you do, you mean make YouTube videos and do a lot of fun voice stuff, it's not really my job. At the moment, it's still more of a hobby that I'm trying to develop more into something else that I could eventually get paid for. If I were to choose another dream job instead of voice acting, it would probably be animation. I loved drawing as a kid. I did really well in art class. Then I remember reading a biography about Walt Disney in early middle school, finding out that he was homeless for a period of time. I know that's not a great reason to give it up, but I'd love to get into animation, figure out how to make stuff move, making a movie happen, making an animated movie happen. I've been off that course for a while now, but I guess anything could happen, really. Do you ever use your voices in public? For example, like drive-thrus? I have not done my voices over the phone to random strangers or at the drive-thru for a really long time. Just going through the drive-thru myself, that kind of thing gives me anxiety. I think that I would just be way too nervous that if I do a voice, they're not gonna get it or they're not gonna hear me, and it's just all gonna go terribly wrong. Maybe if I were to do a collab with another voice YouTuber, I would be a little more comfortable doing it. I can't do it by myself. What Hogwarts and Ilver houses are you in? I'm Hufflepuff and proud. And my Ilver house is Puckwudgie. Whatever that means. What house would you want to be in if you weren't in Hufflepuff? I'd kind of want to be in Ravenclaw. I think it'd be cool to kind of be an intellectual, I think that I'm an intellectual, intelligent, logical, analytical person. What kind of video games did you like playing growing up, and what kind of video games do you like playing presently? When I was growing up, I wasn't exposed to a whole lot of video games because it was sort of just another excuse that my parents thought would keep us on the television. But eventually they got us the PlayStation console, which was a huge deal for us because it was our very first console. And the only two games we had for that were Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Eventually, I got into more games, and I really got into The Legend of Zelda, namely The Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. Huge Zelda fan, and now that I'm older, I really love playing games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and The Legend of Zelda. Not much has changed. I'd love to know about your favorite dragon species from the How to Train Your Dragon films. I think a lot of people know that I'm a big fan of this film franchise. My favorite species of dragon, I think, has to be the Night Fury. I feel like that's kind of the case for a lot of people, but I'm also a big fan of the Stormcutter species from How to Train Your Dragon 2, which we see for the very first time as Cloudjumper. Just the whole design of that dragon, I think, is very unique compared to what you'd expect a dragon to look like. What do you like to do in your free time? I like to watch a lot of Netflix. I've been doing that a lot lately, rewatching a lot of shows. Other than that, I like to play music in my free time. I like to eat in my free time. I work out occasionally. But yeah, it's fun. Do you think you'll ever try out for AGT again? Never say never. And that's all I'll say. Favorite Disney movie? The Lion King. I love the animation, I love the music, I love the story, I love the cast, I love the music, and I really, really really enjoy the music. One of the biggest reasons aside from the music is obviously James Earl Jones. Mufasa is Darth Vader is Mufasa. They both died tragically. Spoiler alert. If you had to choose one band to listen to for the rest of your life, who would you choose? Ooh, I'd probably choose Kansas. Their music is very unique and it's not the same from song to song. And I've just been on a Kansas kick lately, so that'll probably change in like a week or something like that. Are you a tenor, bass, alto, or soprano?
I would hope that just by listening to my voice, you could tell that I obviously am a soprano. I have the highest singing voice in the world, higher than Julie Andrews when she was in The Sound of Music singing that really high note.
What's your main focus in life right now? Well, I'm really trying to, focus on my current career, the job that I'm doing, and sort of build myself up and take opportunities as they come. Do everything that I can to make the most out of my life and pursue my dreams. Are you watching AGT Season 13? If you are, who is your favorite act? You were one of my favorite acts last year. Oh, thank you. I have not been watching AGT this year, and that is mostly because I do not have any cable. I have been watching a lot of the highlights on YouTube. I'm very impressed by a lot of the singers, but that's really no surprise because the singers are always very impressive. There are a couple of comedians that I rather enjoyed. There was also a little girl animal voice impressionist. She did animal sounds, and I thought that was just the most adorable thing ever. If you could do a crossover episode of your two favorite cartoons, which ones would they be, and what would the episode be about? I would probably put together Gravity Falls and The Fairly Odd Parents. You have fairies in Gravity Falls, and you have fairlies in The Fairly Odd Parents. I think they'd fit together well, and I think this particular crossover would have the dark tones of Gravity Falls, solving some kind of mystery. I don't know what. Maybe Timmy and his family visit Gravity Falls, and Dipper discovers Timmy's fairies, and all this stuff. Would you ever want to go back in time and change your past? If so, what would you change and why? There are a lot of things that I think I could have done better when I was younger, but those were all learning experiences that I needed to have in order to become the person that I am now. And I'm still not 100% thrilled with the kind of person that I am now, but I'm a work in progress. And I'm okay with that. Favorite type of pasta? Macaroni. Only because you can make macaroni and cheese out of that, not Kraft. Don't give me that Kraft crap. What's your favorite musical? West Side Story. I was one of the leads in that show when I was in high school, and I jumped on the opportunity as soon as I found out that our drama club was doing it. I loved the movie, and I've seen bits and pieces of like recorded versions of the actual play, but I'm really excited because Steven Spielberg is remaking the movie, and I'm just really hoping that it does well because sometimes remakes of musicals don't do that great. What was the first impression you did and how did you find out? Patrick Starr was my very first impression, and it was nothing that I really paid attention to when I was younger. I just loved watching SpongeBob, and episode 24 in season 2 titled Life of Crime was the one that I really quoted a lot. I had seen it so many times on Nickelodeon. Eventually I memorized the dialogue between SpongeBob and Patrick when they're around the campfire.
You stole my candy bar!
No, I didn't!
So that's how it is, huh?
You ate yours! This is mine!
You took my only food! Now I'm gonna starve!
Here, Patrick, just take half of mine.
Yours? You mean mine!
Do you want it or what?
I don't want it unless you admit you took it!
This is my candy bar!
Liar, liar, plants for hire.
It's pants on fire, Patrick.
Well, you would know. Liar.
What drove/inspired you to do America's Got Talent? My inspiration for the act came from other YouTubers. The inspiration to be on the show came from my family and my friends who kept nagging me about it, and I told them I'd get to it, I'd think about it, I don't know yet, I don't love you anymore. I didn't say that last part. If you had won America's Got Talent, what would you do with the money? I would pay off my student loans. And I buy the giant piano from Big. Have you ever heard of Starr vs. the Forces of Evil? If so, have you ever watched it? I have, and I really enjoy it. It's, I think, one of the best animated shows that is currently running on television. Great voice cast. I love the voice cast. I love the storyline. It's getting a lot darker now. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to the next season. If we lived in an opposite alternate timeline, what would you be doing right now? I would be dead. Either that or I'd be a famous saxophone player. Favorite song right now? Oh, she said, right this second? I can't. Hi, by the Young Rising Suns. If you could voice any cartoon character, who would it be and why? I'm actually going to take a different route with this. I'm going to go with Link from The Legend of Zelda. Of all the characters that you know in video games, the majority of them talk, but Link doesn't really say anything at all. He just grunts and yells. I think it would just be fun being in a recording booth, just making different shouting noises. Ha! Ha! I could poke somebody's eye out with this. I could probably even get... Ow. Where in your family do you get your red hair from? I don't really know. I think I get it. I think you're supposed to get the hair color gene from the dad's side, but both of my parents have red hair, and I think at least one of their parents had red hair. It goes back a ways. If you could be doing any other job in the world, no matter how crazy it is, what would you be doing for a living? I really want to be an ice cream expert. Somebody who goes around the world and just tries different ice creams. Just imagine all the great and maybe not as great ice creams I could try, but it would still be cool because I'd get paid to eat ice cream. That would be pretty crazy. Why do you like doing voices? Because with voices, I find that I can be anything that I want to be. Sure, actors can be whoever they want to be, but very much within reason. It's not until you reach the realm of voice acting where you can literally be anything. I like being able to manipulate my voice in different ways and deciding, you know, this is what this rock would sound like. Anything can have a voice. What is one thing that brings a smile to your face no matter the time of day? This.
Are you coming up to chill? What's the plan, bruh? Everything is awesome when you're a panda.
Preferred superpower, teleportation so I can go to Brazil. Spring or winter? Spring, I don't like the snow. Daytime or nighttime? I'm very much a night owl and
I thrive in the dark.
How much time a day do you practice impressions? I don't really pay attention to how much time I spend. Most of all of my impressions occur when I'm driving by myself in my car and I'm talking to myself a lot. Sometimes I will sing to the songs on the radio in different voices, or I will just have conversations with myself in different voices. Wow, I'm lonely. How do you manage to be such a super nice and cute person? The key is bottling up all of your anger and having well-groomed eyebrows.
Total honk.
Thank you all for submitting questions for this video. I tried to get to as many as I could without making this video too long. If you didn't get your question answered, or if you forgot to ask a question, there'll be other Q&As down the road. Don't fret. If you want to submit a question for next time, you can always follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Tell your friends to check out my videos and subscribe and follow me because I'm a guy just like you. I think that's everything. Peace out.